Bhagavad Gita, one Shloka every day. Chapter 1, Shloka 2, The Anatomy of Insecurity. Namaste, and welcome back to Eternal Raga, Bhagavad Gita, one Shloka every day. Yesterday, we heard the very first words of the Bhagavad Gita, a blind king's anxious question. Dhritarashtra, sitting far from the battlefield, consumed by attachment to his sons, asked Sanjaya, "What did my people and the sons of Pandu do on the field of Dharma?" Today, Sanjaya begins to answer, and the very first scene he describes is not of Arjuna or Krishna. It is not of the righteous Pandavas. The camera, so to speak, turns first to the other side, to Duryodhana, the eldest Kaurava prince, the man whose jealousy and ambition have brought 2 million warriors to the edge of mutual annihilation. And what is this mighty prince doing? He is walking away from his position toward his teacher Drona. Not to seek wisdom, not to ask for blessings, but to manage his own rising fear. This is Shloka 2. Let us listen. The Shloka, let us hear the verse in its original Sanskrit. As always, listen not just with your mind, but with your heart. Let the ancient sounds carry you to that battlefield at dawn. Sanjaya Uvacha Drishtva tu Pandavanikam Vyuddam Duryodhanastada Acharyam Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit. And in Devanagari, Sanjaya Uvacha Drishtva tu Pandavanikam Vyudham Duryodhanastada Acharyam Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit. Padached, word by word breakdown. Let us carefully break apart every word in this shloka. Sanjaya Uvacha. Sanjaya said. The narrator with divine vision now begins his account of the battlefield. Drishtva, having seen, having observed. This implies a careful, deliberate act of looking, not a casual glance. 2. But, however, a small word with a big function. It signals a shift. Sanjaya is now contrasting what Dhritarashtra feared with what is actually happening. Pandavanikam, the army of the Pandavas. Anika specifically means a military division. This is an organized fighting force. Vyudham, arrayed in a military formation. This is the critical word. The Pandava army has been organized into a vyuha, a strategic arrangement designed to maximize strength. Duryodhana. Duryodhana, the eldest son of Dhritarashtra. The name itself is significant, one who is hard to fight against. Tada, then, at that moment. Acharyam, the teacher, the Acharya. This refers to Dronacharya, the supreme military guru. Upasangamya, having approached, having gone near. Duryodhana physically walks toward Drona, leaving his own position. Raja, the king. Sanjaya deliberately uses this title for Duryodhana, even though Dhritarashtra is technically still the king. Vachanam, words, speech. Abravit, spoke, uttered. Full translation. Bringing all these words together, Sanjaya said, at that time, King Duryodhana, having observed the army of the Pandavas arrayed in military formation, approached his teacher Dronacharya and spoke these words. Deep commentary. The camera turns to Duryodhana. It is profoundly meaningful that the Gita's narrative begins not by showing us the heroes, but by showing us the antagonist. Sanjaya could have described Krishna preparing the chariot, or Arjuna stringing his bow. Instead, the first scene belongs to Duryodhana. Why? Because this is exactly what Dhritarashtra wants to hear about. He is an anxious father who wants to know, how is my son handling this? Sanjaya shows the blind king exactly what his son is doing, and it is not encouraging. Duryodhana is not standing firm. He is not rallying his troops. Instead, his very first act is to walk away from his position and seek out someone else. Why Drona? The psychology of insecurity. Of all the warriors, Duryodhana approaches Drona, not Bhishma, the supreme commander, not Karna, his fiercest ally. He goes to Drona. This reveals layers of Duryodhana's psychology. Drona is his teacher. By going to Drona, Duryodhana is unconsciously seeking the reassurance of a student who suddenly realizes that the exam is much harder than he prepared for. But there is a deeper layer. Drona was the teacher of the Pandavas too. Arjuna was his favorite student. Duryodhana knows this. By approaching Drona first, he is testing his teacher's loyalty. He is reminding Drona subtly of where his duty lies. This is the behavior of a leader who does not fully trust his own people. The significance of Vyudham, the military formation. The word Vyudham is not a throwaway detail. Creating an effective vyuha required extraordinary strategic intelligence. The fact that the Pandava army is already arranged in a vyuha tells us something crucial. The Pandavas are ready. They are organized. They are not nervous or scrambling. The army stands like a single living organism. And this is precisely what shakes Duryodhana. He expected the Pandavas to be outmatched. But here, he is confronted with a smaller force that is disciplined and unified. He is beginning to sense that numbers alone do not win wars. Sanjaya calls him Raja, the ironic title. Notice that Sanjaya refers to Duryodhana as Raja, the king. This is a deeply loaded word. Duryodhana is not the king. His father is. By calling Duryodhana the king, Sanjaya is making a quiet, devastating point to Dhritarashtra. Your son has already taken what was not his to take. He rules in your name, but not by your authority. Living the Shloka. What this means for us today. This verse paints a vivid portrait of insecurity wearing the mask of authority. And this is something every one of us encounters in our lives. Think of the colleague who, the moment they see a rival's strong presentation, immediately begins politicking, not improving their own work, but undermining the other person's. That is Duryodhana, seeing the Pandava vyuha and rushing to Drona. Think of the leader who surrounds themselves with loyalists, but secretly doubts whether those loyalists will stand firm. And think of this, when you face a challenge, what is your first instinct? Do you stand firm and assess the situation clearly? Or do you immediately seek reassurance from someone else? Not because you need their counsel, but because you need their comfort. There is a difference between seeking wisdom and seeking validation. Duryodhana is not going to Drona to learn. He is going to Drona to manage his anxiety. And when we mistake reassurance for strategy, we have already taken the first step toward defeat. Today's reflection. Here is one thought to sit with today. When I face something that intimidates me, a challenge at work, a difficult relationship, do I respond with clarity or with anxiety? Do I seek wisdom or do I seek reassurance? Am I preparing for the battle or am I looking for someone to tell me it will be easy? The Pandavas prepared. They organized. They stood in formation. Duryodhana saw their preparation and panicked. The lesson is not that anxiety is wrong, but what you do with it. Notice your own first instincts today. That noticing itself is yoga. What lies ahead? Tomorrow, in Shloka 3, Duryodhana begins to speak. And what he says is fascinating. He starts pointing out the great warriors on the Pandava side one by one. Every name he lists betrays his own fear. We will walk through those names and discover what Duryodhana's battle roster reveals about the man behind the army. Thank you for being here, for walking this path one shloka at a time. If this episode gave you something to think about, please share it with someone who needs it. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Eternal Raga, where wisdom meets peace.